Why am I looking at you? You're a...
Hello, this is Adele. So, welcome to Mathroom, the show where we do math on bathroom mirror. This is my mirror, and this is me, Brandon, your host, today and probably all the days, because I don't think anyone else really wants to do this. So, today I thought it'd be neat if we talked a little about Netflix and how much Netflix they're watching. So, in the last episode, I said it'd be cool. There were documentaries about tigers and captivity and things we can learn about it. And so I found one on Netflix. It's really good. It's called The Jungle Book. So you should check it out. I think you'd like it a lot. And it made me think a lot more about, hey, how much Netflix are we watching? Because if we watch a lot of Netflix, then it's a lot of Netflix that we've been watching. And I was wondering, how long would it take us to watch 100 hours of Netflix in theory? And we can figure that out using something cool called arithmetic sequences. Arithmetic sequences are a sequence of numbers like this one here, 2, 4, 6, and you've got ... Okay, and in this sequence of number, what makes it an arithmetic sequence is that the same difference, so if you were to subtract 4 minus 2, that would equal 2, and then also if you were to subtract 6 minus 4, that would equal 2, meaning that any number and the number before it, if you subtract them, it should equal the same at any point in your entire sequence. So this number minus that number, this number minus that number, a number way down here minus this number way down there. And there's a really cool formula we can figure out to find out any number in this entire sequence, even if it went on forever. So one thing to know before we look at that formula is that this is considered the first position, this is the second position, this is the third position, okay, or first term, second term, third term, either of those are fine. And so this formula will help us to find a number in any position or any term in our entire sequence. And that formula is A with a subscript N is equal to the first number plus the position or the term you're looking for minus 1 times D, the common difference. So breaking it down, more than the mumbling I just did. So if you're looking for a number in any position, so the number in the nth position, that n represents the term or the position the number's in, that will be equal to the number in the first position. So in this case it'd be 2. Plus we have the position we're looking for. If we know we're looking for a number in the 15th position, a 15 would go there. If we don't know what position a number's in, then that stays as an n. Minus 1, and then multiply by d, which is the common difference. Once again, I said the common difference, if you subtract any number and the number before it, that will be your common difference. So in this case, it'd be 2. That's a real quick breakdown of arithmetic sequences, but I want to clear the board so we can talk about how long it would take to watch 100 hours of Netflix. There it is. Got a nice clean working space so we can do some math. I told you we were looking for how long it would take us to watch 100 hours of Netflix. So that 100 is actually going to go here because that's the number we're looking for. And what we're trying to find out is what position that will be in. So before we do that, I want to tell a little story. And it's going to make you feel probably bad about yourself. So we're going to say, because Netflix says that the average human being average Netflix user watches about 2 hours of Netflix a day. We all know that's probably not accurate, especially during the quarantine. So I'm going to tell a story about what your actual Netflix watching experience is like. And if you feel seen during this, that's your own issue. So we're going to say very first day, you did watch 2 hours of Netflix because you're an average person. Burn. But the second day, you couldn't help it, and you're like, I can't just watch 2 hours of Netflix. I need to watch 6 hours of Netflix. So on the second day, these numbers are going to represent the total amount that you've watched so far. So by the second day, you've watched 8 hours of Netflix, which means on the third day, if you watch 6 hours again, it means that you've watched 14 hours of Netflix. So that's the story of your life. Definitely not mine. I don't watch 6 hours of Netflix. I spend all my time working on math and learning stuff. And how we're going to figure out. So once again, we'll say this is the first term, this is the second term, this is the third term. So we need to figure out which term. So in other words, this is the first day, the second day, and the third day. And so we want to find out which day we've watched a total number of 100 hours of Netflix and which day is that on. So n is what we don't know, 100 is what we do know, and 100 is going to go in that first spot. So we're going to set it up as 100 hours of Netflix will be watched on A1 is our first term, so we're going to put a 2 there, plus Once again, we don't know what n is. We don't know what day we watched 100 hours of Netflix on, minus 1 times d, which is not d. We want to multiply it by the common difference. The common difference, 8 minus 2 is 6. 14 minus 8 is 6, which means our common difference must also be 6. So that's how we're going to set it up. And let's do a little bit of algebra.
You lost your way, and it's safe to say that nothing could keep you here with me, and it's what you do.
So there it is, real quick. I don't want to go through every single thing that happened, but probably will anyway, because I have no self-control. What I did is I distributed my 6 to everything inside the parentheses. That's how I got 6n, and then 6 times negative 1 is negative 6. And so I have the 2 stays the same. I've got 6n minus 6. At this point, I want to combine my like terms, which are 2 and negative 6. They're like terms because they don't have a variable like this guy. So these two go together, and this one stays all the way by itself. So real sad for it. And then so 2 minus 6 is negative 4, and our 6n is still over here. We want to get rid of this negative 4 because we're trying to solve for n. So we add it to both sides. If we add 4 to 100, we end up with 104 is equal to 6n. We want to get the 6 away from the variable, so we divide by 6, we divide by 6. That means n is equal to 17.3, which also tells us that on the 17.3 day, you've watched 100 hours of Netflix. So get a good look at that. That's your life, and you've just been seen through math and arithmetic sequences. So one more thing I can do real quick is that if we know that on the 17th day you've watched 100 hours of Netflix, if we divide that 100 hours of Netflix into 24-hour days, then what we would do is we'd end up with approximately 4, which means that if you're watching 6 hours of Netflix a day, and on the first day you were perfectly average, but then from there on you had zero control, by the 17th day, or about the 17th day, you've spent about 4 of those days watching Netflix. So feel good about that. Has nothing to do with me. I'm not exposing myself or making myself feel bad. Like I said, I only do math, and this has been Mathroom. Tune in next time for more math.
Why am I looking at you? You're a